Welcome back to March of Dime, the Stress Master. Thank you guys all for joining me. I really do appreciate all the support, all your guys' comments in the different videos that I'm posting. So thank you guys very much. I'm trying to get at least a video up every 2 days or so, give or take. So don't quote me on that. Because I do think we're getting in the season now, so I do want to make sure I'm giving you guys some content. I do want to do a recap once a week. I'm trying to put these. I think I'm going to keep them on a Tuesday, because then we have the whole weekend, and then plus any straggler shows on Monday, where I can get an update on scores and we can talk about them here. So thank you guys for joining me. I did want to talk about the current placements in DCI, since we've had a good now 11 days, give or take, probably 12 days. I think it's 6:30 was the first show, somewhere like that. So let's go ahead and dive into that. Sorry if I'm screaming, but I'm excited. Okay. So you can see the placement here. We got Blue Devils, 85.8. Sorry, I don't know if this helps or not. But you guys can't see my cursor. Blue Coats with an 84.9, 83.85. Carolina Crowns an 83.1. So the top four here are pretty close. I mean, they're all within a couple points of each other. Of course, Blue Devils and Blue Coats are here. Boston Show, I have not seen Boston Show on the field. I did the video in the standstill. I really want to see their show. I really want to see what they can do. I did watch Crown. Crown's really, really good. They're so freaking loud. All right, but then let's move into fifth place, Phantom Regiment. I'm really excited for Phantom Regiment being in fifth place, and I think this is a good representation of all the groups at this point. So in terms of placement, so we'll see how it goes. I mean, we still have 4 more weeks. Things can shift, change, whatever. Mandarins, sixth place. Go Mandarins. Seriously, go Mandarins. 80.65. Really excited about that. They have a great show. We'll talk about that a little bit when I do the individual show recap. Cadets with the 79.6, so they're moving up. So good for the Cadets. Blue Stars, 78.3. Cavaliers with the 77.65. Troopers, Colts. And this looks like it's back. Oh, they're doing it by average. So it looks like the Colts actually are outscoring them in this area here. And then we have the Blue Knights. So let's look at the bottom here. We got 13th with Pacific Crest. Really great show. They're right on the edge of making a finals. Spirit of Atlanta, same exact score. I really want to see Spirit of Atlanta show, so I'm going to make it a priority this week to get to Spirit of Atlanta, get to a bunch of shows I haven't gotten to, and then what I'm going to do is after finals, then I'll go back and watch all the top 12 again. I'll do individual videos for that. Madison Scouts down in 16th place with the 72.4. Oh, sorry, I skipped Academy, 72.5. Madison with the 72 point. You guys can read. And then Crossman, Music City, and Genesis. Let's go ahead and talk about last night's show. So last night's show was at Roseville, California, Sacramento, DCI Capital Classic. So let's go ahead and pull up those scores, and then we'll talk about Blue Coat scores, or the show with the Blue Coats in it. So let's go to the DCI Capital Classic. And we're going to pull up recaps and do this whole thing here. Blue Devils. Okay, so this is what's blowing my mind. 3 days ago, Blue Devils had an 81.9. I think it was 3 days ago. Let's actually go back in time. Fresno, that's where it was. 81.9. Okay, this is on the 7th. Okay, then we had the next night in Pasadena. They jumped up to an 84.1. What was that? 81.9. 2.2 points in one night. And then, let me hit the back button. Then they went to Stanford, which is their home show, and scored an 85.15. So another point jump. Then, last night, 85.8. So quite a jump, quite a big jump there with the scores. So I can't explain that. They went up 4 points in 4 nights. I don't see how that's possible, but it is what it is, right? It's the scores. However, okay, so let's talk about the other groups here. So I did get to see everybody except for Impulse. So I apologize, Impulse. Anybody here from Impulse? I had to park out in a residential area and walk in, so we missed Impulse. I was really upset about that, but we had really great seats right on the 50, so that was pretty cool. I did see Golden Empire, so let's talk a little bit about Golden Empire. So I really was impressed with their color guard. First thing I said in my mind was like, oh my gosh, their color guard's really, really good. I was super impressed. And the colors and everything were really good. You can tell the core is still developing. I mean, they're a young core. They haven't been around that long. But you can tell that they're moving up. The drumline was really good. Everybody's drumlines were really, really good this year. I don't know what it is. I think someone made a comment like everybody's drumlines are on fire. I would agree. A lot of drumlines are doing really, really well. Visually, everybody's really, really good. Sound-wise, you know, they're small on the smaller side, I think, if I remember correctly. They don't have as big a horn line, but they saw a good sound and produced a really good show. Gold, I was really impressed with. They were super big. They looked top 12-ish. I don't know how else to say it, but they're like their presence, their visual, their production was very top 12-ish. The core's not quite top 12-ish yet, but you can tell they're getting there. I know they're in open class, so they're big enough they could be in world. I just don't know why they're not in world, but maybe they just want to stay in the open class because they are big enough, and I think they'd be pretty competitive in that realm. There are some other groups that are, you know, of course, scoring a little bit higher, but you never know. You never know what would happen. And then Blue Devils B, I really loved their uniforms. I really dug the uniforms. And they kind of did the same thing as the A Corps, where they have these like yellow sleeves. So when they're doing visuals at the beginning, these visuals where they're like electricity, like that was really cool. I really dug that. They're really colorful, big core. I really like their use of the flags. In the flag feature, it was really, really cool. I love the colors. I love the way they integrated everything. So great job, Blue Devils B. I do think, though, that Gold had a little bit better sound. I don't know if that's reflected in the recaps or not. So let's take a look at the recaps for the open class. Let's look at here. Look at this. GE 14-4, 13-6, 13-3. So all pretty tight in general effect. I mean, everybody... I think I made this comment last year, but everybody's really stepped up their visual game in terms of show and concept and execution of it. So I'm really glad. I mean, I know people say, oh, drum corps dying. Drum corps ain't freaking dying. So let's stop with that talk. Because everybody said that in the 90s when we started getting away from traditional stuff. And, oh my God, you're not doing this. You're not doing, whatever. Drum corps is going to evolve. You can't help it. It's the activity. But anyway, so let's look at the scores here. So we get total GE of 28.6 to 27.1. So 1.5 difference there. Okay. Let's go over to the visual side. 14 to 13.3. 13.6 to 13.1. So a little bit closer here in color guard. 14.4 and 14. And impulse. 14.1 in guard. 12 in guard. So you just never know. You can have stronger sections in other areas that you need to improve upon. But this is where it gets interesting. Okay, so this is more what I was talking about. So brass, Gold actually edged out BDB by 1/10 of a point. And then here, music analysis. So I think overall, like I said, I like Gold's sound. I know that Blue Devils beat them in the captions, but that's just my opinion on that. But so the overall score was a 70.2 to a 67.5. So there's a decent spread there. Let's go back. All right, so let's talk about the world class. So I'm going to try to go through as quick as I can because I know I'm taking a lot of time for some reason. But so I'll go through it a little bit quicker. So Academy, really loved their show. I think it's one of their best shows since the Drum Corps Bride. Very strong production. I love their colors. They have a really good sound. So I'm really looking forward to see what they can do, if they can push that sound a little bit more as we get more into the season. Pacific Crest, really, really good show. They did, their show was Goddess. Really, really cool. Love the gold colors. Love the rocks and what they did with them. I loved how they staged things. Pacific Crest, really good job in staging and setting up a really cool, fun show. I really liked the show a lot. Blue Knights. Okay, this was kind of unexpected for me, and I don't mean that in a bad way. Blue Knights, just like a lot of people were just like, whoa, they're loud. They are freaking loud. I'm glad. In some ways, they were louder than Blue Devils in some parts. So Blue Devils have like a really big sound, like wide sound. But Blue Knights, when they hit some of the impacts, they were really, really loud and impactful. Not that one's better than the other. It's just that's the way I felt. But Blue Knights have a really, really good show. So I'm looking forward to see if they can push into that, to the top 12. So let's talk about the Mandarins. So I really like the Mandarin show. I think it's a really cool concept, Centerman. They do a uniform. They take off an overlay and then they have a secondary uniform. I really liked it. I thought it was really, really effective. Really cool colors. They have these great props that rotate and they're stages and they do all kinds of cool stuff. So if you haven't seen the show, I highly recommend watching it. It's a really entertaining show. All right, so let's talk about the Blue Devils. So the Blue Devils, of course, are always amazing. Great color guard, great sound, great brass, great drum line. I do think that the colors are really vibrant. I really love the colors this year, especially with the cutouts. They have some of this. I think they're probably reusing some of the props they used before with different colors, and they're raising them and lowering them. So creating a cool visual imagery that you're watching, and kind of evolving throughout the show. I mean, really good. I mean, 85.8. I mean, come on. You know, a lot of people are saying Boston's gonna catch them, so we'll see. You never know. It's DCI. We still have about 4 weeks, so got to make sure you guys watch that. So let's talk about last night's scores. So drums across America. So Bluecoats, Cadets, Spirit of Atlanta, Music City, Spartans, and Heatwave. So I'm just going to pull up the recaps. I mean, I've seen Bluecoats. You guys have seen my Cadets reaction. I'm going to get to Spirit of Atlanta. I really want to see the show. Someone I marched with is actually involved with that activity, involved with that corps. So I'd really like to see Spirit of Atlanta. I love Spirit of Atlanta. I don't know if I think I've shared this with you guys before, but one of the very first shows I fell in love with was 84 Spirit of Atlanta. If you've never seen 84 Spirit of Atlanta, I highly recommend you watch that show because that is just a clinic in brass, just oozing brass sound, just amazing show. So I can't wait to see Spirit of Atlanta. Let's pull up the recaps real quick and just go through this real fast. Okay, so we got Bluecoats. All right, so we're just gonna do total. So 34.1 to 31.4. Okay, I can see that. Down to 28.5 for Music City. Whoops, sorry. Visual 16.9. Cadets are getting are close in visual here and also in color guard, so they're catching up. So all relatively great scores here. Brass is 16.8, 17.1, and then percussion is 17 for Bluecoats, and the Cadets. Solid scores. Wow, really solid scores all across. So 84.9 to 79.6. Bluecoats really good. Let's go back. We're going to go back to the 9th, or the 10th. Oh, okay, yeah, we'll go to the 9th. Crosse, Wisconsin. So we have Boston, Phantom, Blue Stars, Colts, Troopers, Madison, Crossman, and Genesis. I did get to see some of these shows. I really want to see Boston. Their show I'm really excited to see. I love their standstill, but I really want to see the visual of it. Phantom, they're just keep pushing. They're getting better and better. Blue Stars. I really don't get the Blue Stars show. I don't know how I feel about the Blue Stars show. You guys tell me what you think. The whole Absenthia thing, I don't know. Colts, really love their show. Love the colors. Troopers, of course, they're in the hunt, doing really well. Madison, Crossman, Genesis. So let's pull up the recaps real quick. 33.7, 32.9, really close in GE, and then Blue Stars 31.6. Okay, perfect. Okay, so let's slide on over here. So visual, 16.5 to 16.2 to 15.6. So it's a pretty, Phantom is really close to Boston Crusaders in a lot of captions. Look at this visual analysis, pretty close. Color guard, was there a little bit of spread? It's still 0.6. That's not that much. So good for Phantom. You guys keep rolling. Okay, so music analysis, we got a 16.6. There's a score in here I'm going to point out here in just a second that's going to amaze all of you. Look at this. Okay, so we have music brass, right? First, second, third, fifth, and fourth. So Troopers beating them in brass. Look at the music analysis. Boston, then Troopers, then Phantom Regiment, then the Blue Stars, then the Colts. Second place in music analysis. Troopers. Way to go, man. That's awesome. Holy crap. Same thing in percussion. Look at this. Second place in percussion. That's awesome, man. And then Boston with the 16.6. That's just unreal. I mean, I think it's the coolest thing ever. Way to go. Way to go, Troopers. Cool, cool, cool. All right. And then you guys can see the scores here. So let's go back to the rankings real quick. Sorry. All right, so let's go back to the rankings just so we have a little final look here. So, I mean, it's anyone's game. I mean, we're 4 weeks out. Who knows what's going to happen? And everybody, I think DCI is kind of pushing Boston Crusaders because they've never won. We'll see what happens with that. But Blue Coats, I mean, Boston hasn't competed in 2 days, so they could come out with an 85. Who knows? Tomorrow or whenever they perform again. And then Blue Devils will be, I think Blue Devils will be around 90 by the time they get to Salt Lake City. That's all I gotta say. Or one of the other shows right after that. I just think they're gonna be in the 90 range pretty soon. That's just me. But, I mean, look how tight everything is right in here. And then you have this next grouping down here within this little area right here. So 5th and 6th, Mandarins and Phantom Regiment. That is the coolest damn thing ever. I've been watching the Mandarins since the 90s when I marched, and they have like 7 rings, 8 rings or something like that, like championships. When there used to be an A60, which is 60 members or less, A90, 90 members or less, and then the Open or World, whatever they called it back then, I can't remember. So they were in A60 and they won consistently. They won one year. They had 10 horns and they won. 10 horns and they won. It was pretty cool. So Mandarin's always there, always pushing the envelope. Really glad that they're up in this echelon. So we'll see what happens as we get closer and closer to finals, because cadets are in the hunt. They could push through. Cadets always surge in the second half of the season, so you just never know. Same thing with Cavaliers. You just never know where everybody's going to end up. I hope the Mandarins can stay up there and push forward. I hope they do. And same thing with Phantom. Hope you guys stay up there and push forward. So we'll see. We'll see, because Carolina Crown, amazing show. Boston Crusaders, I'm sure it's going to be an amazing show. I haven't seen it on the field. Blue Coats, really different show. Really, Garden of Love is really weird, but they execute it really well. And then you guys know my thoughts on the Blue Devils. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe if you have not done so. I really would appreciate that. And then make sure that you stay tuned for all the new videos coming out here on March or Die. All right, well, thank you so much for joining me. As always, I truly appreciate it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then,